Hi everybody, Sarah Grillo here. Thanks so much for tuning in once again, and please subscribe to my channel. I've been getting actually a few emails from people lately asking about being overqualified, and this is particularly relevant if you are a CFA candidate, CFA charter holder, or if you have a master's degree, or if you have a particularly long tenure in your job. Overqualification is a weird thing. It's kind of a misnomer. People throw that out a lot, and it just really means that they don't want to pay for your credentials. And although it's a hard thing to hear, a lot of people take it the wrong way. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you having those credentials, and it's not knocking you out of any jobs. Look at it this way. Employers always want the best person for the job. They wouldn't care if you had a PhD and you were applying for a job as a secretary, okay? They're not there to make you happy, they're there to make themselves happy. The only people they really care about is themselves. So even though your mind would be mental mush from you having a job as a secretary, they'd be fine with you doing it. But the problem is they don't want to pay you for your skills. So are you overqualified, or are you just undersold? And so here's what I mean. When you go out for a job, if you got a CFA or an MBA, you'd better be able to explain what the value is to the employer. And don't just say something like, well, these exams were really hard, I had to pass really hard tests. That's not the point of having the degree, okay? The point is that maybe you talk about how your mind is now accustomed to memorizing large amounts of information. Or if you're a CFA charter holder, you could talk about the ethical requirements of having the designation. But you've got to take it a step further, because you're just describing features, you're not describing benefits. And furthermore, you're not making them own the problem of, well, what if I just hire the next person or the next person? Because remember, they just are there to get the most out of you for the smallest amount of money. That really is how corporations work. It can't work any other way, all right? So you have to make them realize what the problem will be of them hiring somebody without this qualification. So, for example, if you're trying to sell the idea that because you're a CFA charter holder, you have to uphold higher standards of integrity, then you should talk about a few scenarios. You should talk about a few situations that you've been in where maybe if you hadn't had that rigorous ethical training of the CFA program, you would have made a different decision. Okay, that's an example to talk about. Well, maybe I was trading this stock, or I was making this investment decision, and if I hadn't been versed on how to really take the high road and to make sure that the client's interest came before my own, I may not have made that decision. But because of my CFA training, I knew how to do that. You see, that's how you're selling it. You're not just selling it like, I'm a CFA charter holder, pay me more. I'm an MBA, pay me more. It's like that only goes so far. You really have to get into the value. You really got to dig deep, and you really got to make them feel it. And you really got to make them feel the pain of what's going to happen if they hire somebody for slightly less money that's not as qualified as you. So you're selling the qualification, and the qualification has to be described in terms of its value to the employer, in its ability to avoid certain problems that the employer will have unless they pay you for your credentials. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please subscribe to this channel, and also forward this to anybody that you think needs to hear this message. Thanks everybody.